Welcome back to the Shine Within podcast. Brenda Staat-Tomlinson is a soul leader, holistic healer, and the host of the Mind Body Soul Mastery podcast. With a background in corporate supply chain and a passion for personal transformation, Brenda helps individuals align their mind, body, and soul to navigate life's transitions with clarity and purpose. Through deep, honest conversations and intuitive guidance, she empowers others to reclaim their authentic selves and create lives rooted in love, balance, and fulfillment. Well, I love that, Brenda. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for being on my show today. I'm excited to see you again.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. And I am thrilled to be here.
Yes, and for our listeners, I was on Brenda's podcast, so I would definitely recommend you go and check out her podcast and give her a 5-star review. And check out our episode. Yes, I had an amazing time speaking
Yes,
with her. So thank you for having me. And now I get to have you on my show.
I love it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and if you could just go ahead and take us back to the moment when you realized there was something more calling to you beyond the corporate world of supply chain.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that is going to take us back 6 years, maybe 7 years to that moment in time. It was the fall of 2018. It was that moment in time when I had rebellious teenagers at home and life was not fun and joyous. It was hard. It was hard and not what I thought parenting was going to be. I'm a single mom, so doing it alone and without having the support of another. Um, and I would say too, I was deep in my conditioning. I was reacting based on just different things. And so it was one night when another argument with my teenager, a door slam, words spoken that I'm not proud of. And I realized I can't live like this anymore. I can't do this. Something has to change. And at least I had the wherewithal to know that I could only change me because what I was doing with my teenager wasn't working. So we had to flip it up, switch it up. And it was in that moment that I knew something had to change and I had to find something. And I had been to talk therapy and that had been great in the past. I just deep down I knew that's not what was going to work this time. And so I just started seeking alternative methods of healing and ended up coming across the following year an energy healing modality that worked for me. And I picked up on it quickly. So I was healing myself and I realized, wow, I picked up on it quickly. In the group I was in of this modality, I was realizing, wow, other people aren't getting it as quick. Like, so, and I ended up uh, I opened my doors by the end of the year and started working on clients, helping them just as I was helping myself.
Beautiful. Yes, I noticed for myself, even when, because you know my story, I was heavy drinker
Yeah.
and my son saw it all. You know, he's a teenager now. He's 16, going to turn 17 in July. And he saw all of the ugly between his father and myself. And it wasn't
Yeah.
until I started to change that he started to change. And then I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, our relationship is so much stronger now. So I completely understand what you're talking about. And you
Yeah.
also talk about aligning the mind, body, and soul. For someone actually feeling disconnected or stuck, where would you say they should begin?
That's a great question. And for me, the mind, body, and soul really, I'm going to say it this way, that has always been my tagline. So even, 6 years ago when I started healing, it was mind, body, soul healing because I knew that that's what I was doing. But I hadn't been able to put all the pieces together as how I now understand it and how I now see how they all work together or when they work together and in partnership, that mastery piece is how it really begins to accelerate our healing. So, what I have found is that our mind, I'm going to say it this way. As Westerners, we have allowed our mind to rule. And in the spiritual world, in the spirituality of things, we need to let from the neck down rule. So, what is our body saying to us? What is our intuition telling us? What is that gut instinct? Our body holds all the messages and the emotions and our intuition. And it's also our soul resides in our body, or we're a body within a soul, however you want to say it. So we really should be living from the neck down and tuning into our body to hear its messages to help lead and guide us where we need to go. And also then tuning in and listening to what the soul's telling us. And as we do that, we can begin to, the mind can then begin to unravel and deprogram from all of the conditions, the lies, the beliefs that we've told ourselves. Now, is a very distinct connection between our beliefs that are in our mind, but our body, our subconscious part of our body also can hold those beliefs. So there is definitely a direct link between the stuff that our body holds and our mind. And as we begin to work and release that and let that begin to unravel, that's where we begin to see more clearly from our mind what's true for me, what's right, what am I supposed to follow, what am I supposed to do.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I love your whole explanation. And it is very true. Because of the drinking, I masked everything. So I wasn't able
Mhm.
to really feel into my body, but there was so much trauma that my body
Yeah.
stored. And it wasn't until I became then, like I said, sober, then I wanted to connect back to my body. But yes, I had all of those limiting beliefs, the conditioned mind that the world
Hmm.
programmed us, and
Yes.
so deprogramming, I had a mindset coach who helped me with that. And once and then I was able to rewire my mind, I guess you would
Hmm.
say.
Hmm.
Then I was able to connect more to my body and listen to what my body needed. And it
Yes.
needed love, like it needed self-love. It's like, Gina, what
Yes.
you've not loved me for so long and look at. But it's so true.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I myself have that same relationship with my body. I mean, I've literally had, and I know it just sounds weird, but I'm very intuitive and I go within all the time and hear the messages of my body. And I've learned in this practice and what I do, like I've learned that the thoughts that seem really wild and could never come from me, those are my truth coming from my body. And one of the messages was, I don't trust you yet. And I'm like, oh, God, just like that knife in the heart, and that I don't trust you yet. So I have to really work on my conversations with my body. I have to really, and this too is rewiring the brain to acknowledging that my body is an entity that I need to acknowledge and take care of and treat kindly with compassion and grace because I haven't, similar to you. And yes.
Yes, I agree 100%. And you also describe yourself as a soul leader and holistic healer. People have always said that to me too. You're a healer, you're a healer. And I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" And it doesn't it makes sense to me because I do massage therapy, and most of those people who are on that table are the ones who say you're a healer because they can just
Yes.
sense my energy and how I want to pour love to them and I want to make them feel like the valuable person that they are. And once they get off
Yeah.
the
Oh,
table, they feel renewed. And so that's what I love doing massage. I've been doing it for over 18 years. But can you go ahead and share what it means to you and how it actually shows up in your work?
sure. So, holistic healer is just really the core. They're both the core of who I am, but I think maybe the holistic healing came first. And so that's why I still have that as, you know, my brand, my title, whatever. It's really where it came first because really at the core of me, I am really all about healing. And I am really all about going within and finding the deeper deeper meaning of things. I'm all about releasing the trauma and the negative energy that our body holds, because until we can do that, those affirmations, that abundance, all those things that we're chasing, we've got to release the stuff our body's holding in order for some of those other things to come to us, right? We don't we don't always see or recognize how big the energetic tie is of what we're holding on to from our, either whether it's our past or what we came into this lifetime of knowing. It could be from our parents, our grandparents, this generational stuff that is in our DNA. Some of that too, like, hinders what we want out of life, what we see out of life. So that holistic healer is really the core of me. And I've stepped into this soul leader simply in the last few years because I've done a lot with my own soul and hearing it. I've I've gone into the work of, well, what am I here for? What is my purpose? And that question, because I've used that question for decades. What's my purpose? What am I here for? What I've learned about myself is definitely not what I thought it was going to be about. And so learning about my soul's purpose and what am I here to do and experience? How am I here to evolve my soul? And that's where I've kind of really shifted the work that I do with my clients, because we take a look at that. Here's what your soul is here for. Here's what you came into this earth knowing. Here's what your soul is here for, what you're here to do. Well, how do we begin to have the conversations and work on the healing at the same time, as well as going within for the introspection so that you can connect your mind, body, and soul and start hearing and developing practices for yourself that keep you growing and that keep evolving your soul in this lifetime? Because I believe that that is what our souls are here to do. We came here to have experiences, and we came here to evolve our soul. And I want to evolve my soul as much as possible. I don't really want to come back and have the same experiences because I didn't learn the lesson this time. I just don't. So I am all about, let's lean in, learn what we got to learn, no matter how fucking hard it is. Let's just do it and evolve.
Yes, I feel like we come here with amnesia, first off. We don't,
Yes.
what am I doing here? And I always say this to people whenever I have conversations. I remember when I was a little girl in the playground at school asking myself, why am I here? What's the purpose of life? And I was just maybe
Yeah.
fourth grade, fifth grade, maybe even third grade. And I just felt awkward, like this school. Why am I in this institution? Why am I in this system? What is going on? And I had those
Yeah.
questions before. And then finally in 2020, when I had my spiritual awakening, my big spiritual awakening, and I know it was a spiritual awakening because it was ugly. It was
Mm,
ugly and
mm.
painful. And I just started asking the questions no one asks. No,
Yeah.
everyone's
Yeah.
afraid to
Yeah.
ask. And
Yeah.
that's when I started then to grow and learn more about my soul and my soul's purpose and what I should be doing here on earth. And it made a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
here on this lifetime for a reason. I don't want to come back, and this school's hard. This school's
Yes.
hard.
Yes. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk about resilience because we're all resilient. Even when someone thinks they're not resilient, they're resilient. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not worthy." I said, "You wouldn't exist if you weren't worthy." Source doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't make
Right.
mistakes.
Right.
Yeah. What would be one of your most transformative, or even what you would call it, like messy moments? And how did that actually shape the way you show up today?
I think I have a lot of messy moments. So I think I'm going to go this route because I think this is the biggest one for me. And um, so in that teenager that I talked about, who put me on my healing journey, that one that was the catalyst for my growth and healing. He's also the child who in 2022 died of cocaine laced fentanyl. And so it's not lost on me that the child who put me on this healing journey was also the child who died and then catapulted me into a whole growth experience that I wasn't expecting, right? And so when you lose someone, you are not only are you catapulted like into grief, but I was in shock and all of that because I really never ever thought that his addiction was going to take his life. Like that was never even I never even had that thought. I was just waiting for him to have his rock bottom moment and then, come out of the darkness. And it was through that experience, and thank God for the spiritual journey that I had had in the 3 years prior to that. I allowed myself to grieve and I allowed myself to mourn, yet I didn't stay stuck in the suffering. I found healers and mediums and different things that helped me connect with his energy on the other side and learn more about his path and what his soul came to do and what he had to evolve in this lifetime. And that helped me move from this place out of suffering and like victim, like happening, kind of to me, and moved into more, I see, I understand now. I know why his soul came. I know what his purpose was. I know that he came to chase the high, and his path in this lifetime, he chose drugs. So I didn't stay stuck in the suffering. And so now my grief is and that's the moment I say I quantum shifted grief because I didn't stay stuck in the suffering. I accepted his life, his purpose, his death. I leaned into what were the lessons that I needed to learn from this? What were the lessons that I needed to grow from this? And I leaned into them and embraced them. And now grief for me has become this ever present, always there, and also this continual noticing of duality in that I may be sad today. I may have tears rolling down my face, but as I watch my living children hang and get together and, laugh and joke, knowing that my son Ian would have been right in there with them and loving it, I can still be grateful and thankful that I'm here witnessing it and I'm there. So that's that to me, that's the biggest resilience for me is being able to hold that.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna give you a virtual hug. If I was there with you, I'd be giving you a big, big bear
Thank
hug. And
you.
thank you for sharing that. And I told you this
Yeah.
before. I can't imagine what it'd be like losing a child. That's like my biggest fear. But just
Yeah.
knowing that you didn't stay in the suffering and then you
Yeah.
learned about his soul's purpose, what he came here to do, and know that the soul doesn't die. The soul is always there.
Correct. Correct. And
Soul
he
is
shows
always
up for me all the time. And my dad passed away in December,
there.
and he and my dad have shown up to me when I'm in my practice and doing my going within and my rituals. He and my dad have shown up together, just
Wow.
knowing they're, yes. So it's, yeah,
And it's a knowing, right? You know when it's them. The signs, for me, I had lost there was about 5 deaths within a month, mostly
mm,
family members. And I was devastated. I was doing a lot of breathing exercises. I was
yeah,
trying to move that energy. I was just like crying,
yeah,
crying, and hyperventilating and just couldn't take it. But then I saw these beautiful bugs that I don't think I've ever seen before, just next to my window while I was laying down on the mat. And I was like, and I had a sense of peace and a
hmm
sense of
hmm
calm. And then I was like, wow, they're there. They're not away from me at
yes,
all. They're
yes,
right there. And even
yes.
my own mother, she sent me something through like Facebook. It was a beautiful message about daughters and mothers relationship. And then she says, "Oh, when it's time for me to go, just know that you're not going to be alone." I said,
Ah,
"That's right, Mom. I'm not going to be alone. And I know your bug is a
yes.
ladybug, and I know when I see that ladybug, you're going to be right there. You're right
Yes,
there." And so,
yes,
yes, we're never alone. They're never gone, and they're always with us. But thank you so much for sharing
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know you're passionate about helping people tune into their inner guidance. And I, like I told you before, I had to learn how to trust myself again. Actually, I don't even know if
Yes.
I ever trusted myself. So I had to learn to trust myself. But how do you actually help someone strengthen their inner connection, especially when they've been ignoring it for so long, like myself?
Yeah, no, and I ignored mine for 4+ decades. So I am right there with you. In just my own healing journey, I know as a young child, I shut off my feelings because it was too much. It was too much. And so now, so I had a very disconnected mind body experience. And through my healing journey, I have had to work really hard at building that connection and building that trust. And how do I help someone go through that? Like, I'm just gonna just, it's hard to explain. Lots of conversation. Like you have to have a trusted mentor, right? Like
Yes.
someone who understands and lots of conversations and someone who can also reflect back to you what you might not be seeing, right? You had a mentor like learning to do this, right? But so much of tuning back into our bodies and learning to trust ourselves, it takes, you have to become this observer. You have to become this observer. You have to acknowledge what you're feeling. You have to accept what you're feeling. And as I said earlier, like when those thoughts that come in that you just know you would never say, that was one of my biggest things that, oh, that's not from me. That's whether it's from my guides, my team, or whether it's from my soul coming up, right? And then for me, so it's learning, then accepting that message that comes in, but especially following the guidance. So, in order to begin to trust what's coming up for you, to trust your soul, to trust what's already within you. Like I say all the time, what's true for you may not be true for me. And I'm going to trust what comes up that's true for me. And that has been following this guidance. So when I'm guided to, here's an example. Like early in the morning, before I'm like completely conscious, someone will usually pop in my mind. And I will always reach out to, I've learned to just reach out to them and say, hey, I'm just thinking about you. And many times, 9 times out of 10, they respond back with they're going through something.
Mm.
And my message hit them, right? So I've learned to trust those prompts. I've learned to trust and follow the breadcrumbs. Um, I'm also like in my, if you are know anything about muscle testing, the sway test, like those are tools that you can learn. Anyone can learn how to sway test. You can Google and learn and watch a video, learn how to do it. You can learn how to what your body's yes is and what your body's no is. And it's just asking questions. Is this, I mean, I stand in so funny. I stand in the cosmetic lane with all the shampoos and I hold it in front of me and I'm like, is this one for me? Nope. Oh, put it back. And I will find the one that my body says yes, because I've just, again, remember my body said, I don't trust you yet. So I'm leaning into and asking my body, do I want this? Is this what you need? Is this good for you? And I'm getting the yes or the no. And I'm honoring it by following its nudges. And so that is how I am learning to just, in essence, get my body. Oh, she's following, she's listening, she's doing what we're asking. And that's slowly going to build the trust with my mind and my body.
Yes, having conversations with yourself, I think is important. Like I talk to myself all the time and I check in
Yes.
with myself all the time and I ask myself, Gina, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
What do you need? What does your body need? What
Yes.
does your soul need? How can you nourish it?
Yeah.
And the answers come. I don't know. It just it just comes.
But the more you go within, the more you're asking those questions, right? Your body and your soul, they want you to live your fullest expression of what you came here to do. They know what Your path is meant to be. They know what you came here for. Your body and your soul does know. Your higher self is part of your body, you're part of your soul. They know what's best for you. But again, we've let our mind control. We've
Mhm.
let our mind run run us. And we need to let it go from the neck down. And we need to trust the body and lean into that and trust the soul.
Absolutely. Now, talking about the mind, body, soul, of course, you're the host of the Mind, Soul, Body, Soul Mastery
Yeah.
podcast. What actually inspired you to start it, and what kind of impact has it had on your own personal growth?
Ah, so I what's okay. So hmm, so one of the things after Ian died was that I had a channeler who I had set up long before he died, but decided to continue to go with the session. And she provided this whole report for me of, my soul, just different things. And one of the things on there was you'll have a successful podcast. And I remember reading that in 2022. It's like, that's bullshit because no, never doing that. Never doing that. Well, when you get those readings, I'm going to just say, when you get those readings and those options of possibilities, your mind begins to ruminate. So I obviously was like resistant enough for my body and my mind to say, my soul to say, well, let's begin to work on changing that because that is part of your path. That is part of your and so, exactly pretty much 1 year later, I started working with a podcast coach and started this process. And Mind, Body, Soul Mastery is the name that I came up with. And I struggled with it for so long because remember, my tagline was Mind, Body, Soul Healing. And mastery was the word that came through that for the name of this podcast. And I'm like, no. And I had to look up the word mastery. I had to see what it meant. I had to understand it. I had to sit with it. And I was like, no. And then finally, it just was this acceptance of, yep, that's what it is, because I do believe that all of our life is learning to master the mind, body, and soul. The resistance that comes up, the challenges that come up, the hard things that come up, the suffering. We have to learn to deal with it, to process the baggage, the things we came into this life with. Like if we can learn to, this is such an exciting time right now. Like the world is changing so much. The energy of the world is changing
Yes.
so much. There is so much opportunity right now to really change all of our lives and letting go of what our bodies are holding, the trauma, the negative energy, mastering our mind, the limiting beliefs. Like right now is such a beautiful time to really begin to let go of the past and all that old and step into this life that you are meant to live and evolve your soul in a completely different way. And so to me, mind, body, soul mastery is this everyday journey and experience that everyone is having, whether they're recognizing the connection or not.
Yes, and these are incredible times to be living in, and our soul chose it to live in
Yes.
this time.
Yes. Yes.
And it's so neat. It's like we didn't think like sometimes I ask soul, why? Why did you?
Yes.
But then I'm like, okay, this makes a lot of sense to me now that I'm in soul
Right.
alignment.
Right. Right. No, I'm with you. I had some very disturbing conversations with my guides when I found out what my soul's purpose was and what I'm here to do, because it did not align whatsoever with any one iota of my life until that moment. And that was a hard acceptance of how I've been living and what I'm here to do, and this integration of accepting that and integrating into that change. So I totally get you. Sometimes I have those conversations too, like, I don't like it.
I feel you.
I don't like it. I will do it. And again, it's working through that process, right? Working through the resistance, working through the feelings that come up, working through all of it, right? Like that, the inner work that all comes from within. That inner work is so much part of the journey.
The work works for sure. Like I always
Yes.
say that the work works. Inner
Yes.
work. That's why my podcast is called Shine Within. And that came to me because I
I love
listened to
it.
myself. I listened to myself. I'm like, what should my podcast be called? And it just said Shine Within. I'm like, oh, then I had to look it up, see if anyone else had that title first. And then I saw Shine From Within. I'm like, well, I'm not doing the from. I'm just going to do Shine Within. So I'm like, it'll work out. And so
I
yes.
love it.
I trusted myself in that process. And yes, having a podcast is amazing. And I mean, look, we get to meet each
I
other and
know.
we meet some amazing guests, and just hearing stories of resilience and self-growth and empowerment is just so fulfilling to my soul. And I think
Yes.
that's why it's nourishing for me to have a podcast. It's not only helping
Yes.
the world with the listeners, but it's helping
Yes.
me as a host as
Oh, no,
well.
I completely agree. Completely agree. And I will say, I'm just going to take it back a step farther. Setting up the podcast and the back end and all of the other stuff that I did with my coach, like that was its own whole growth process to the point where I, it would overwhelm me and I would not do anything for weeks or months. Hence, that's why I didn't, I started interviewing in January and didn't launch until July. So I had this bank of podcasts and I had so much fun with the conversations. Like there are still some conversations that stick out to me to this day after 18 months and was like, wow, that person still is stuck in my mind. So this has been the funnest part, just like you said, the conversations and meeting like-minded people and hearing the stories and the hope and the inspiration that comes because I gained something from every conversation. So it's been a whole complete growth process. Like there was periods I didn't like it. There's periods like, what in the hell am I doing? Because this is too much. And I had to work through it and grow through it, right? And now here I am. It will be a year in this summer, and I love it. I love the conversations.
That's amazing. Yes, audience, again, tune into her podcast. You'll get some insights and some value and just action steps to what to do to help you grow in life and connect back
Yeah.
to your body and soul and mind. It's important. All three of those are so, so important. Yeah,
Yeah.
and for the woman listening who's ready to reclaim her clarity and confidence, but doesn't know like the first step. What would you go ahead and say to her?
Hmm. I think the first thing, if you're ready, the first thing is start seeking. So find that person that resonates with you, whether it's a friend or whatever, and start talking. Start talking about, what you want to change in your life. Start seeking a coach or a healer or a shaman, a medium, a psychic, whoever you're drawn to. Find that person you're drawn to and take a step. I can't even begin to tell you the countless people I hired in my first few years of my journey. And every single one helped me, gave me tools that I still use today, and brought me one step closer to where I am today. And now I'm at this point where I pretty much have the tools. I have the tools, but sometimes there is someone who usually sticks out. So when you're ready for the next level, the teacher shows up. But so someone who's just ready to start changing their life, but doesn't know where to begin, just start seeking, listening to podcasts like this, resonate. That guest resonates with you, go look them up, go do some research, sit with their information for 24 hours. You know, if you're still feeling nudged, you're still feeling it. If you're still, whether it's in your heart or in your belly, like those are two key places of, the body sensation giving you yes or no. Follow.
Yes, and when it's on the top of your head with these tingly, that means you have to go for
Yes.
it.
Yes. Chill
That's
bump. I call them, I have chill bumps, spiritual bumps,
yeah,
whatever.
spiritual
Yes.
bumps. Yeah.
Yes. Those guests that do that for me, yes. I have written their names down. Yeah.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, Brenda, where can our listeners go ahead and connect with you?
Yes. So I'm on Instagram as my full name, Brenda Staat-Tomlinson, no spaces. You can check out my website. And if you'd like to be a guest on my podcast, you can do it right there too at brendastaattomlinson.com. And probably I spend most of my time on TikTok at bst.energyhealer, although I have, yeah, taken a hiatus of posting right now. It just is not feeling right for me. So I'm not doing a lot, but you will hear clips and different things of different podcast guests and my solo episodes all out there.
Awesome, and everything will be in the show notes. But anything else lighting you up?
Oh, so many things lighting me up. So right now, yeah, so right now I'm taking a course actually going deeper into my purpose. So again, knowing my soul's purpose, but I'm really deep diving deeper into it, simply just to get understand and know all the nuances. So always on a growth. Like I love learning, and so I'm always on some sort of growth trajectory. And so that's what I'm doing right now.
Awesome. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Brenda. I really enjoyed our conversation. You bring so much light and love into this world, and just keep doing what you're doing. You're making a big
Oh,
difference in this world. So thank you.
thank you, Gina. It's been a joy talking with you again.
Thank you.